Hello, welcome. For those who don't know, I'm Jocelyn. I'm the Communications Outreach Manager. You may have seen me at the PAC events or on the dog park. And we're excited to get today's event going. And with me today is the fabulous Susan. You also may have seen her. She's been in our last PAC event, and then she's so active. She's our person. She's our on the dog park. You have a question, she's got it. She's our admin. So Susan, do you want to add anything before I continue? In case you want to say.
Nope, I'm just really excited about today and getting to see all y'all here and how excited y'all are about our 1, 2, 3 treat activity.
Perfect. So quick reminders or quick information for those who don't know, we are recording today's event. We will have a Q&A at the end. Of course, you can put it in the chat as well if you're not comfortable speaking. We will answer any questions that we're able to. So I'm going to disclaimer, I am not a cognitive expert. We have researchers who are, so anything really scientific, of course you can ask us, but we're going to ask our researchers, our specialists who actually know that information. Today, Susan and I are going to give you an overview about our 1, 2, 3 treat activity. So anything around that, we can definitely answer. But anything more than that, we're going to have to get back to you. And definitely we can get back to you either through your email. So you can leave your email, or if you're on the dog park, I would also say put your question and then whether you want your answered at the dog park or at your email. So again, this event is recorded. So anything you at the end of the Q&A, if you want to speak up, we're going to answer some of those common questions, and then we're also going to allow you to ask those questions. So now that we have those reminders, let's get into the 1, 2, 3 treat. So thank you all for joining. So today's 1, 2, 3 treat, for those who don't know, it's a game for you to play with your dog. It's designed to measure how your dog thinks in the world. This is not a performance test. Your dog doesn't have to get it right. Every dog is unique. So some might show some interest in the game, and others might think this is the best things others. And some might not even like it at all. My dog was on the fence about it. I'm going to be honest. He was like, I like it, then I don't like it. So you never know. But quick little tips for success before we get into what's provided for this is this event is a little time, but I would set about like a block of time to do this activity. Maybe one day, like today, you do your boxes. Tomorrow, you can set up your station, and then later you can do the activity, or you can do it all in one day. We estimate that it takes about 45 to 60 minutes. It took me 2 hours, but I was filming, so I can, yeah, so if I was filming stuff, it's because I had to make it look a little nicer. Oh yeah, so it takes about 45 to 60 minutes if you do it all at once, or you can do it in little sections. Another great thing that you're going to need, and we'll discuss it later, is that when picking out your area, you're going to need at least 10 by 10 feet open space to set it up, and we'll get into it. And then you're also going to have to get a little arts and craftsy, which we're going to do in a bit. But the 1, 2, 3 treat activity it's supposed to be fun. So I hope you have fun with us and doing these activities and getting to play this with your dog in a bit. But the 1, 2, 3 treat activity it's supposed to be fun. So I hope you have fun with us and doing these activities and getting to play this with your dog. So there's 4 sections to do in the 1, 2, 3 activity, which we're going to go over today. And the first one is the box construction. Susan's going to take lead in a bit about that. Then you're going to do your array setup, how to set up your area. I'm going to show you how to do that. We're also going to do a quick overview of the warm-ups. There's more detailed information through your portal as you go click by click. And then we're also going to show you how to play the game, like a quick overview on that, because that was a common question. We heard you. We're going to try to improve that next year to give you a quick overview so you know what's needed and you feel more prepared. So thank you for joining us. And without further ado, Susan, take it away for the box construction.
All right. There are several ways you can do your boxes. And if you click through the survey, unfortunately, the way it's set up is you have to do each piece as you go through the survey. We know that y'all want it all at once, and we're working to fix that for the next time. But as we did this treat in our pilot studies, of course, in a pilot study, it's a small group, everybody's excited. And so there were no problems. But now that we've set it up to the entire pack, and if you haven't gotten your invitation, you should have, but the last batch went out on the 28th. So check your spam email if you didn't get it. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how to make the boxes. Our system has given you 2 different ways to do it, and we'll pick one of those ways, and I'll do that here for you and show you how to do it. And then we have some cheat codes because there's always an easier way to do this. The 2 ways are you can get a 10 by 10 piece of cardboard. I get a food delivery box, so I just cut mine out of there. Or you can use our template, and you can tape that to a piece of cardboard. If you're making the box yourself, this is the easiest way. You just cut out a piece of cardboard, tape the template onto it, and then I have my kitchen shears that cut through bones. It cuts through cardboard really nice, and then you just cut on the dotted lines. You can also use an X-Acto knife, or whatever. And I know cutting is a pain in the butt, but the other thing about these boxes is we have several activities that will be using these boxes in the coming months. So you'll want to save your boxes. So I am just cutting on all these little dotted lines, and we're going to end up with a nice little, some of you who've taken SAT tests, y'all remember the little, you have to visualize what this is going to look like when it's done. And then you'll fold it on the solid lines. And if your box is kind of hard, you can score it. I'm going to fold it. And as you fold it on these solid lines, you'll see you make a little box. And then you can whip out your handy dandy packing tape, or if you prefer duct tape, if you want pretty colorful tape, it just depends on how crafty you want to be. I am a plain packing tape girl. So here we go. And you'll just tape that all together, and you have a lovely little box. And then we want you to take a marker, and there on the side, you're going to put a 1, a 2, and a 3. So can everybody see that? So that's all well and good, but we have a cheat code. We have a brilliant participant, Darby's mom, who said, you know, if you take a square tissue box like this and cut it in half, you have 2 of the exact same size boxes. So what I did was I took my little ruler, I measured 2.5 inches and made a line, measured, made a line all the way around. I pulled my tissues out so I could use them some way else. I didn't think I had that many left in this. So nice empty box. And I could use regular scissors.
It would be helpful if you tilted your camera down a little bit so we can see your hand. Thank you.
Sorry about that. And 2 perfect size boxes. This one has a hole in it. So what I did was I cut a little 4x4 piece of cardboard and plopped it right there in the middle. So if you have 2 tissue boxes, you've got 3 boxes and a spare. And highly recommend, if you don't want to go through the box thing, we ran it through the researchers. They thought that was great. So I can show you all the other box making technique if you like, or I can show you the second cheat code. I don't know if you have Panda Express or another fast food place that has square boxes. This is from Panda Express. It is 4x4, just about 1/8 of an inch too tall, but it'll work. It's a little bit narrower at the bottom, but if you can get 3 of these, this will work as well. Anybody have any questions on box instructions.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
If we have a big tissue box, which is a little bigger than the cardboard box you make, or is it the same size?
If you have a bigger dog and these boxes don't work, either the tissue box size or the one you make, the researcher said you can use a slightly bigger box. The important thing is you can't see through it. We don't want the dog to see the treat, and that they're all the same. So if you need to make a little wider, I had a friend with a Great Pyrenees who had problems getting her nose into it. So the important part is you can't see through it and that they're all exactly the same.
Does it matter, excuse me, does it matter if two boxes are the brown cardboard color and one is white?
It's better if they match, but I'm not sure how dogs can see that way. But it's a cognitive test. We're not testing scent. We're testing whether they remember which box it's in.
Okay, thank you.
Another question that came in the chat was if it was okay to use plastic containers. Yes, Susan answered, you need a cheat sheet, you can use a little container from Panda Express or any little Tupperware container that's around the similar size dimensions.
As long as it's not clear. We don't want to see the treat in it.
Mhm. All right, any more questions on the box before we move on to the set array? Oh wait, what are the exact dimensions of the box, please?
It is 4 inches, 4 inches by 4 inches, and then 2.5 tall.
Perfect. And then where's the template? Actually, we can show you how to get there.
Excuse me, I used the template, but mine are only 2.25 inch tall. Is that a problem?
No.
No. All right. And then I'm just going to double check really quick if any more people are in the weight room. Nope. Okay. Then let me share my screen so I can show you how to get that template. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Hopefully, yes. So when you click on your portal, you should have an area where you can get into your box instruction. So this is a step-by-step process, but you do have to read, but it does give you an outline of everything you need here, your pieces of paper, pencil, tape, ruler. And then right here it says, which set of instructions do you plan to use? I have a printer and would like to use the template. If you click this one, hit next, then you will have the template where you can download the PDF, and it would be this one. And then it's also on the bottom as well. So you have 2 options to get this template when you click on this instruction. I'm going to go back and click on the other option. If you would like to draw and measure directly on the cardboard, and you want to click this option, they will show you a video how to get it, but you will also get the instructions of this version. So both of them give you the version, but you do have to click on which version you want to click on this. And then you will have step-by-step video instructions that are different than the ones Susan showed right now, but hopefully that was helpful for the instructions. Ta-da. And yes, that's right. It was also in the newsletter. We had the template in our last newsletter as well. You want to go back to our February newsletter. We had all the instructions on that. And now I'm going to move on to how to set up our array. All right. So I'm going to give you a little overview, and then I'm going to show you what I did to set up my area. So how to set up your area. Of course, you're going to need a 10 by 10 feet open space area. It can be inside or outside, but whichever location you pick, try to pick this location again next year, because we'll be doing this every year, every February. So every year we're going to be launching it in February. And I know because of weather, it can get a little challenging, but I'll get into that. But the only thing, if you move to a different location, you change your primary residence, then of course you can pick a new location of your new set array. But whatever you start now, try to keep it the same so it can be the same every year. So what do you need, right? So first you need a space. Look around your home. Maybe there's something inside. Look around outside, or is there an area you can do outside? But you need a good open space, about 10 feet by 10 feet. You're going to need a measuring tape. You're going to need some kind of form to mark. Depending if you're inside or outside, it's going to change whether you're going to need masking tape, Post-it notes, sidewalk chalk, a different kind of tape, whether it's duct tape, because inside, outside, it just varies, or even if you have carpet or tile. So depending on that is a little different, but you do need something to mark your little areas. Now, another thing, and I'll show you just how I did in the construction on our portal, is depending on if you have your computer near you, you'll be able to see the steps and click as you go. And if you don't, we'll show you the versions where you can print these out and have this handout with you as you go as well. But that's going to determine how to enter your information at the end. And on our set array setup, we're going to give you the printable PDF right here, where you can print this out and go through it as yourself, or you can use the laptop version if it's near you. So you have two versions. So weather, you guys, we're so sorry. And we try to take weather into account when we launch these activities. It's really difficult because we're a nationwide study. We have, as you saw today, and everyone on the chat, we have people from Alaska all the way to Florida, and everyone has different weather, sections. Some people right now have snow. Some people right now are in the heat. So it's very, very difficult to launch these events. If it is snowing in your area right now, because we have seen quite a few of those come in our Zendesk, we understand. Our recommendation is going to be, of course, try it inside. And if that's not available, then of course, you're welcome to opt out. Another common question we get because of the weather is, can I do this activity later throughout the year? Unfortunately, you can't, because it is going to be launched in February, and all our activities and surveys are open for 40 days. We can maybe if you ask us in advance, we can give you a week extension, a little longer if you need more than 40 days, but it has to be within those 40 days. So if you can't do it this year because of snow, we get it. Maybe next year will be better. So the overview of this setup instructions is really quite simple. It's really just marking the spot and how to get to it. And then really quick, before I get into it, I'm going to click on this array to show you how to get. So it's going to show you through the different steps in your portal, but right off the bat, here's that PDF where you can download it and print it. And then those who have a computer or want to see more visuals, the video I'm going to show you at the end is not the step-by-step, but there's going to be little video clips that you can see by section to get in more detail. So what are you going to need to do first? Well, first, you're going to have to pick your start line. Where do you want to start? You pick in the bottom of your area start line, and then you're going to, from there, measure your 6 feet and mark again, right? You're going to have to mark the spot. After you figure out your start point and your 6 feet, which I'll show a video at the end, you're going to then come down and measure 1.5 feet, which is also 18 inches, and you're going to mark that area. So if you see over here, you're going to mark, this is from here, this is that point, and then, oh no, that's this point. And then when you mark your 1.5 down, that is this point. And from here, you're measuring your 4 feet right and left. And once you have these 3 points, that is your array setup. At the end, to check your work, you're going to want to measure out from your start point to those boxes, and it should be 6 feet in each direction. And then, hi guys. This is me doing the video from a how-to YouTuber version. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And if not, we have our portal where they have the little instructional sections. Hopefully you can also hear it. So here we go. So now that we have our boxes, let's get into setting up our array. Oh yeah. So first and foremost, we do have a handout. So you can print out and mark the spot. There's, depending if you're doing this activity inside or outside, you may need different materials. Also depending on where you're doing it. If it's carpet, maybe tape would be great. If you have more tile floor, my dog. If you have tile floors, a different kind of material might be better to use, maybe Post-its. If you're outside, you might need rocks, or if you have a sidewalk, the little chalk might be better. So it just depends what you might need. So inside today, what I'm using Post-its. You do need a measuring tape, whether you're going inside or outside. And then I'm using some tape. I'm not sure what kind of tape. Masking tape would be fine, or if you need duct tape, any kind of tape to help mark the spot. So also, depending on your area, you also want to make sure it's a 10 by 10 feet area. Being close to a wall can be a little tricky. I have a little small dog, so he's okay. I know he'll fit behind the attendant spot. I already kind of have it set up where it is, but wherever spot you want to start, make sure you mark it. And then you're going to need your measuring tape to your 6 feet. From your 6 feet, get another like Post-it or tape and mark. But also I'm going to back up really quick. So your area also you might have to move some furniture. So I kept the blue rug, so you would know that I have a blue rug where I put my keyboard piano. I did have to move my keyboard to have a more spacious area. You may have to do the same. If you don't feel like moving your furniture, that's okay too. You can always do this activity outside, and we'll show a video on that. Or, of course, depending on the weather outside, you may have to opt out, which we understand as well. But back up to the measuring. So once you have your center, you're going to want to mark 1.5 feet down or 18 inches. You're going to want to put another Post-it just so you know, or for me I am, because for me that's an easier way to count down. And then from here, you're going to go left and right 4 feet. So I already went left, and this is what right. So then at the end, it should be 6 feet in every direction. And then the last step is to add your boxes on top of the Post-its. And you're ready to get started for the warm-ups. So if you do this activity outside, you're going to want an open area. I have a backyard, so I can use either this area, or I also have like a little carport, so I can use the cement area. So if I use this area, I might need some rocks or sticks to mark it. But since my dirt's a little hard today, I'm actually going to back up my car and use the carport. All right, so I'll be using some tape to help get myself ready for the array. So whatever you use, you can probably use chalk. I didn't get any, but tape also will do to help get our little array set up. And you get your 6 feet and start marking. You do the 1.5, 18 inches down, and then you go left and right, or left and right, my bad. And then at the end, you just want to check your work by making sure it's 6 feet in every direction. And once you check it, you're ready to put your boxes on top. And you're ready to get started for the warm-ups. All right. I'm going to stop sharing. Hopefully everyone could hear it. I'm not sure, but what questions came in about this? Let me see. Anyone have any questions about setting up their area or concerns? Let me see.
No, it seems very clear.
Susan and Jocelyn. Oh, thank you. Susan and Jocelyn, this is Harmony from the team. And I just had I wanted to share a question that I'm actually not sure of the answer to. Donna, C-Y-M-R-O-T, Donna, I do not want to mispronounce your last name. She only has a space where she can get 5 feet out and not 6 feet out. Do we have any feedback from our other team if we can do this at 5 feet instead of 6 feet?
Don't, but that's something we can ask Evan and get back to her through the dog park. That's a very good question.
Perfect.
Oh, I love that tip. I just saw someone said to use green flags outdoors. Perfect. I didn't have that when I was outside. All right. So now I'm going to move up to our...
Jocelyn, Kathleen has her hand up. I don't know.
Oh,
if
I'm
she had a
sorry.
question.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
Yeah, mine was the question about, can we use those garden flags? They come on a little stick and they just poke right in. So I guess so, right? It doesn't matter if we've got an upright stick there.
No. Another thing I noticed too outside, I'd probably be better to use that stick because if it's windy, that I had to tape that's also why I use the cement, because I had to tape the bottom of the box because it got windy outside. So if you're using a grassy area, a stick would probably be better, and it's probably better than putting a rock inside to keep the box down. So I really like the stick idea. All right. Any more questions before I move on to warm up? That was a really good point. Oh, a sturdy chopstick, that should do the trick. All right. So I'm now going to show the warm up, give a little overview on that. And let me share my screen again. All right, so for the 1, 2, 3 warm up area, now you have your boxes. Now you have your little area ready. Now we need to do the warm up. So what you're going to need now for your warm up, of course, is your dog. You're going to need some small treats. And you're also going to need a leash and collar or a harness for your dog. This is a leash activity. So that's another common question, is whether they need to be on leash. For this one, they do. And then depending if you're doing this activity with your computer or if you're going to do the printout, if you're going to do the printout, you do need a timer so you can alert you with the 20 seconds. With the computer, the timer's on as you click on. No instructions. There's three different versions, right? First, you have your digital version, and you're going to go step by step, clicking as you go. And then just like in the constructions, which I will show in a bit, is how to find these two printable versions. So the first version is a warm-ups data sheet, straight to the point. This is everything you need in one page. Your other one over here, your detailed one, is going to give you all the details plus the data sheet at the end, and it has more pages. So for those who don't want to read as much, this printable data sheet only one is going to be really helpful. If you want to read and get through all of it, this detailed version is going to be better for you. And I'm going to click on the survey so we can show you how to get these two versions. So I'm clicking on you're going to go through your portal. When you get to your warm-up section, you'll see this. You'll fill out your information right here. You'll scroll down. And before you even get to the printable instructions, I completely forgot, but you're going to have to decide whether you want to go around your little section on the left side or right side of this array. So once you pick which side you want, then it'll get you to how do you want to record your responses? Will you be entering them directly to your computer, or do you want it through a paper data sheet and then you report it later? So if you click this version, of course you get a video, but then this gives you the printable data sheet only. The minimum one is going to be that one pager. So you click on it right away, there it is for the left. If you click the right, then you'll get the right version. When you go this version, the more printable instruction one, the detailed one, it's going to give you all the details and then the warm-ups as well in this one, and that's this version. And this, whether you pick left or right, it'll be the same one for the detailed version. So depending on which route you want to go, you have options. You can go completely digital. If you want to do some paper, you do have to do a little bit of digital to get to the paper version and then go back to putting it in the portal. And then, like I said earlier, you're going to have to decide whether you want to do it on the left and right or the right side. Whichever side you pick, just make sure you're consistent, and that's the side you do for the warm-ups as well as the game itself. And you do that side every time moving forward. So the next year when we do this, it would be the same side again. So a common question we get is about treats. This is a treat motivated activity. We need them to have the treats, to be motivated by treats. And treats can be high calorie, we understand, but there's different things you can do with treats. You can give them kibble instead. If you use the treats that are intended for training, those are usually low calorie. And then if they're not, because it also depends whether your dog is willing to eat those treats, then you can also give them some cheese or meat, but maybe it's like the pea size, a very small amount of cheese or meat that day. If you do have larger treats, you can cut them down and break them up as well. But it is important that your dog is highly motivated by treats for this activity. And if your dog is generally not food motivated, we consider and thing to consider while doing the warm-ups as well as playing the game is to maybe do it before mealtime and choosing an extra special treat so they can be motivated. And if they're not, and if they are super motivated by food, maybe do it after mealtime so they can consider a treat as more as so they can focus, right? So they're not like, oh, food, like after they have their meal and they do it, they can be focused to do it. And that is if they're excessively food motivated. You know your dog better than us, so whichever time of day that works for them is great. So what do you need, right? This is a quick overview. I'm going to show you the what's warms up data sheet because it kind of gives you a big of what you need to do. But first, you're going to have to test if your dog likes the treat you're giving. And the best way to do that, you're going to step in the little area of your little array and give your dog the treat. Then you're going to test if your dog will eat the treat out of the box. So you're going to put them in the box, in one of the boxes first to see if your dog will eat it out of the box. And once you've done all of that, you're ready to get into the warm-up trials, the rounds. So there is 3 to 6 rounds. It's up to you how many rounds you want to do. For sure, you need to do 3 right here. And if you want to feel like you need to do more, you can do it up to 6 times. The least amount is 3, the max is 6 times for your warm-up. Now I'll expand this to play a little overview of how the warm-up goes.
For the next step, you and your dog will walk from the start location to box 1 You will place a piece of food in this box, and then you will walk your dog back to the start location where you will release the dog to go find the food. We'll walk you through the entire process first, and then you will perform this step. You'll begin by standing at the start line, holding your dog's leash in your left hand and with your dog positioned to the left side of your body. You'll hold the treat in your right hand. You will then walk to a location slightly to the left of box 1, keeping your body between the box and your dog. You will then show your dog the treat, putting it near their nose if necessary to get their attention, and then placing it in the corner of box 1 that is nearest to the start line. You'll need to remember to hold your dog far enough away from the box that they can't eat the treat yet. You will then turn clockwise and walk your dog back to the start line, remembering to keep your dog on your left side the entire time. Lastly, you'll let your dog's leash go slack and allow him or her to go eat the treat in box 1. If your dog has a release command, such as, "Okay," please feel free to use it when you let the leash go slack. Just don't point to the box or lead your dog directly to it. Stay behind your dog and allow them to search independently. Your dog will have up to 20 seconds to eat the treat. Here's a quick video recap of what you'll do in this step.
All right. And that concludes our warm-ups. Was there any major questions on that one? Did we see any, Susan or Harmony?
I just had a quick question.
Yes.
In that video, there was only one box. Is that part of the warm up is to just use the one box, or was that just for the
Right.
video?
Right, I wondered that too.
It is, and it depends on which version you do. If you do that quick overview of that handout, it'll explain. And if you do the more detailed, it'll explain to do one box at a time to make sure they know the route as they loop. Let me see. I think I have the printout. This is the warm up. Okay. Yeah. So in the detailed version one, can everyone see this? Yes. It'll show you how to loop around one box. In the video, they did one box at a time. You can either add the one box at a time to introduce it, or you can put all 3 boxes and do the path of one at a time in the warm-up. But the warm-ups will explain the process. If you do the detailed version, it will have the information there. If you do the other one with the detail, it gives the information. Oh, that's the wrong one. It gives the information, but it doesn't give you an image besides the 1, 2, 3 mark.
Why is the orientation of the corner of the box important?
That's a good question. Susan, do you know that one?
Yeah, they don't want the dog to see the treat. So if it's in that corner closest to the start, the dog's less likely to see it from the start line, especially for your taller dogs.
Good question.
Okay.
And there's several questions about whether you can use a verbal prompt to tell them to get it.
You
afterwards.
can. You can. It's whatever your dog is used to. Anything else? Do you warm up?
And you're warming up to all 3 boxes.
Yes. You are warming up to all 3 boxes, as well as doing a little demo and explain of the 1, 2, 3 game. Yes.
Yes. Hi. I was wondering if you have to use a leash.
They recommend it. It is a leash activity, just so they know you're guiding them and it's not a free-for-all.
We've had several people whose dogs had leash issues, and the participants were able, the researcher said, as long as you can hold the collar as you're walking around, just something so you have control of the dog as you're walking around the boxes before they can go get it.
Or if you've passed canine good citizen urban dog, and then they can walk past a treat when you say leave it. But that's going to confuse them when you do the test.
Are we ready for the game overview or more?
I actually do have a tiny question. I have a puppy and he's not super great on leash. Like he gets really excited and zigzags a little bit. Is that going to be a problem?
I don't think so. My dog does the same. I think during the warm up, that's the whole point, is to help them practice through the point. But it's also to learn. It's a puppy. We're going to mark that and know that information as we go and see it as it processes.
It'll be fun to see how he learns it as you go through the years.
Yeah.
So when you say at least 3 times on the test, that's because you do it once each with each of the boxes? Is that the reason?
For the warm up?
Yeah, warm up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then when you do the additional warm ups, you're doing it the version of the game. So you can kind of do a prequel. So, and that is in the detail version, but it's all in there, even in the digital version. As you click through, it'll show you how to do it. And in the digital version, they'll have the videos, more detailed videos of each step you go.
Okay.
Or for those who want to print out, you can print it out and still get the videos too. It's going to give you that access for the videos in both versions. So you're still going to get all the videos they made to show you through this process. All right, let's get to the good stuff, the game. So for the game, right now we've done everything. Now we're getting to the final step, the game itself. Again, what you're going to need is your dog. The remaining small treats, at least 30 to 40 treats for them to continue with this. There is going to be 9 rounds. You're also going to need a leash or a collar or even a harness to guide them through the process. And then depending if you are doing it on the computer or you have it a printed version to write down your info, you will need a timer, because when you come back, see how you circle first, you put your treats in your circle around. When you come back, that's when you start your 20-second timer so your dog can go find the treat. So instructions, just like in the warm up, there is also a concise overview of all the rounds of what you need to do. And then there's a detailed version giving you more instructions and other visuals to do it for the printable version. And of course, in the game itself, in the digital version, you're going to be able to click through and get these printable handouts as well as see all the videos. And so in the portal, you can see all the videos of the step-by-step process. But I can click on this again to show you where to get these print instructions. So again, you fill out your information. You'll click next. It'll also show you to expand for those who need to get a better view. That little quick tip. You also need to remind us which side you're doing, if you're doing the left or the right. That is important. And then you're going to tell us, are you near a computer to do this? Yes or no? If you say no, that's when you get the print versions. So the top one is that condensed one sheet one. We'll show you the video, kind of like the game of the overview of how to do it. And that is the print sheet data only one here. We'll also give you some quick reminders of how to start. You step back really quick. If you click the more detailed version, which gives you the little, I have printed visuals as well, that is this version. And that gives you all the little pictures of the process and stuff. So you'll hit next. You'll get a video as well of an overview of what you're doing. And then that is the printable detailed printable version. And the detailed one is both for left and right. So then once you decide which route you're going to go, whether it's the digital, this handout or this, or you can do what I did, go back and click on both. If you would like to see an overview of both, you can do that as well. So quick overview. To play the game, there is 9 rounds. That is a lot longer than your warm-up game. You also need to remember what side you're started on. If you're doing it on the left, you want to be doing it on the left the whole time around. If you're doing it on the right, then the right all through the warm-up as well as the game itself. Now, rounds. You got to remember that your dog should only be allowed to search in one box when they do their round. And each round will indicate which box your dog is not allowed to eat from when you're baiting the boxes. And we'll get into that and show you the overview. But in this quick sheet, data sheet one, it shows that which box will have the remaining treat when your dog is doing the activity. And in the detailed version, it would also show you the image, which I will also show at the end. But let's look at the video so you know what we're doing.
Now that we've done the warm-up, we'll move on to a game involving all 3 boxes. Begin by placing all 3 boxes in their respective locations. Box 1 goes on mark 1, box 2 goes on mark 2, and box 3 goes on mark 3. As before, position the boxes so that a corner of the box is oriented towards the start line. Here's the general process that we'll use in the next set of trials. You and your dog will begin at the start line, and you will have 3 small treats in your hand. You will walk your dog in a clockwise loop around the boxes. As you approach each box, you will place a treat inside it. For 2 of the 3 boxes, you will allow your dog to eat the treat from inside the box immediately after you place it there. For one of the boxes, your dog won't be allowed to eat the treat immediately, but will have a chance to search for it later. On every trial, you will visit the boxes in the same order. First box 1, then box 2, then box 3. Then, you will take your dog back to the start line, where he or she is an equal distance from all 3 boxes, and let the leash go slack so that your dog can search for the final hidden treat. At this point, your job will be to tell us which of the 3 boxes your dog searched in first. If your dog places his or her snout into a box or above the opening of the box, you should record this as the box your dog searched in. On each trial, your dog will only be allowed to search in one box. If the dog chooses the box with the treat, allow them to eat it. If your dog chooses a box without a treat, retrieve the hidden treat from the box it was actually in without allowing your dog to eat it. We'll do a total of 9 trials of this activity. Before every trial, we'll tell you which box your dog should not be allowed to eat the treat from during the baiting process. This is the one location that will still be baited when you release your dog to search for the remaining food, and it will vary between trials. Before we start, there are a few helpful tips that you should know. First, when allowing your dog to eat from a box, you should hold the box in place using the hand you baited it with. This will prevent your dog from sliding the box out of position while eating. Second, remember that you will always walk your dog on your left side, keeping your body between the box and your dog when baiting the box. This will make it easy to prevent your dog from eating the treat when needed.
Yeah, so in this video, this is the example of the left side. If you're doing the right side, it would say the right, and it will show the example through the right side as well. So quick overview. So this is an example from the detailed printable instruction data sheet. So it shows you on round 1, you're going to bait box 1, but they're now, so when you walk around, they will not be allowed to eat from this box, but they'll be allowed to eat from 2 and 3. So then when you come back and set the timer at 20 seconds, they have to find box 1. And of course, if they don't, it's okay. They're not wrong. They just didn't get it on time. That's all that matters. But then you would tell us which box they would search first. Did they search in box 1 first, 2, 3? They didn't search any box. I had a round with my dog where he was just like, nope. So it happens. Or, and if by any time, if your dog is not enjoying the activity, you can always stop and you let us know right here too. But that is the printable version. And in round 1, round 1, 6, and 9 is going to have the bait in 1 for those who wanted an overview. And then I also give another overview of these are the rounds that are going to have the bait in 2 and 3. But to be honest, when you go round by 1, it's easy just to follow the instructions rather than seeing in this Outlook. But everyone's different, so maybe this you find this helpful. Then again, when it comes to printable instructions, we have the game data sheet over here on our left that you can print out and see. And then you have the detailed version that has those other graphics, I'll go back, that have these images and give you each round detail information like this. And when you do the digital version, they'll have these visuals, they'll have the videos. Each part, doesn't matter whether you're doing printing or not, they'll have videos for you to see as well.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Does it matter if you use a retractable leash or not? Or is that preferred that we don't?
That's a good question. I would assume it's whatever your dog is used to.
Awesome, because we use both. So I'll probably use the retractable just because that allows, like, I'll know for sure she can reach it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, as long as you're not pulling them, but I mean, exactly what you say, you're giving them the room to do it. That sounds good. Another thing, and I didn't mention in my overview, but it is mentioned in the portal when you go through these steps, if you want to have a partner to help you go through this, by all means, that's a great way to help you. Yes, Paula, your hand is up.
So a question, each of the 3 boxes gets a treat, but the
Correct.
dog's only allowed to eat out of 2 of them. And when you take them back to the start, we're looking to see if she finds the one that's left there.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thanks.
And when they go look for the treat, you keep them on the leash and kind of go with them quickly so they're not feeling restrained, or do you turn them loose to go find the treat in the real test?
I think it's a mix of both. I think it depends on your dog, right, Susan? Because with Moses, you were able.
Yeah, I think they want the leash there just because if you're doing it outside, you need to have control of your dog and being responsible pet owners. We don't want people just letting their dog loose willy-nilly. But my dog, if some dogs, if you drop the leash, they're going to stop walking. So if you need to hold the leash for your dog, so big, you know your dog best, and you know what kind of environment you're in. If you're in a room in your house, but you don't want your dog wandering off to another room or something. So
if there's
Don't
treats,
you need the leash to keep them from eating the treat if they went to the wrong box?
yes, that as well, because they only have 20 seconds. So after 20
So if,
seconds,
my dog, if I don't have the leash, he'd get to that second box before I could get to him. If I didn't have the leash.
yes.
my border collie as well, he wants to go to all the boxes and round them up.
I have a quick question. Are we able to put tape down underneath the box to hold it in place, or do you want us to use our hands to hold it, or does it make a difference?
You can do tape. I did because if you're doing it outside, the wind really got it. So it should be fine.
Okay.
It does help. It doesn't, depending on your tape, it may not be sturdy enough. So I had to do both. I'll be honest.
Jocelyn, there's a question asking about basically what the end game and the purpose of the game is. Is that something you want to address?
It's a cognitive game, and it's like us with memory games. So for us in the human world, and I'm summarizing it, and I'm not an expert, but we do have blog posts that give more information on this. And we also have a previous PAC event, in which, let me get that link. If you all want to go see it, where our cognitive experts talked about all the activities they do with our PAC member, for cognitive assessments. But yes, it's just like a memory game that that humans do. We're doing it for dogs.
Are they seeing different responses from the different breeds?
They probably are. We haven't gathered enough data to make that assessment, but they're probably maybe should be. I don't know. That's a good point. It's a good thing that we hope to see in the future, and we definitely would release that information because we are an open data study. And then let me look for that
I'm
video.
sure this is Harmony. This is Harmony from the team really quickly. I just wanted to answer that. And I believe they will be doing comparisons between breeds and also all the other factors like age and so on. Can I ask a quick question? We've had a couple of these in the chat about exactly when to start the 20-second timer. Can we address that one?
Yes, you're going to start it exactly when you get back to your start line, and that when you're ready to hit your timer. And when you're ready to hit your timer, you say go, or whatever your command is for your dog to go, whether it's you're letting the loose or you have a command word to get them going to go. But it's when you come back to the start line. So you're going around the circle, and when you're come back to the start, that's when you give them the 20 seconds.
And there's a question about, if you do your 20 seconds, is it okay if the dog checks the other boxes first, or do they need to do we mark the first box they go to?
It's the first box they go to. That is the one we mark. And then you don't want them to check the other ones because that's their initial one. If the box they picked, the first one doesn't have the treat, as it said in the video, you're going to pick up that treat. They didn't get the right box. It's okay, it happens, but they need to pick the box that has the treat to get the treat, to get the reward.
Another reason for the leash.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can you clarify what you just said? that if they go to a box with a treat, then they don't get the treat? Oh, they do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if they go,
you-
and if they go to a wrong box,
They don't get the treat.
okay. And what happens to the treat in the box that's remaining in the
You
box?
pick it up.
Okay,
You pick it up and then you would rebate it for your next round.
okay.
So, oh, okay, when you take them around and you bait the boxes, do you show them that you put the treat in the box?
Yes. You want them
Okay.
to yes. Mhm.
Okay. So you just want them to remember the one that they haven't eaten already.
Correct.
Okay.
Any more final questions? We've been on for a good hour. Thank you all for being here today and staying on. We really appreciate it. We'll stay on for maybe a couple more minutes for any final questions, but if not, you can always reach Susan, anyone on the team, but especially Susan, she's our admin there, on the dog park for any questions. Of course, you can always email us as well, and hopefully you get started. So also, I'm going to really quick, because I remember seeing in the beginning about deadlines. So we rolled this out for the whole month of February. Some of you got it a lot sooner than others. So some of y'all's deadlines are a little long or a little later than ours. So whatever your deadline is, that is unique to you. It's not the same for everybody. But if you need an extension, we're allowed to give you at least 1 week extension, but you have to email us first.
So our deadline is from when we start.
It's when they emailed you, and it should be in that email, or it should also be in your portal what your deadline is.
Yeah, no, I did get the email. Thank you.
Mhm.
And Jocelyn, this is Harmony again from the team. We will have this recorded somewhere for our participants to tune back in later. Is that right? I know Jennifer Jane just asked that question.
Yes, it is going to be on YouTube.
Judy, I would save your boxes, because not only will we use them again next year, we have other activities this year that will use the same boxes.
Thank you.
Yes. And actually, I forgot really quick, I'm going to show you on the dog park. We have a form where you can share your cute pictures of how it went. If you want to share pictures of before and after, or during of how you did during your 1, 2, 3 treat activity, please show them on this forum.
And Jill has a question about a dog that does not pick the correct box first. I think we've got some blooper reels that we can probably there
So
too.
if you go to this form, the 1, 2, 3 treat one, I can also get the link and put it in the chat, the little chat box. It has this image. Share your photos, and you can also tell us how it went there as well.
Hi, my dog has really good verbal commands, and I'm realizing as I'm practicing this, I'm telling her leave it for the one that's in the box, and then okay when it's time to go get it. Are the verbal commands okay, or am I messing up the research?
No, the verbal commands are okay. Oh, it was just making sure they're still on the leash when you tell them. So
It
you're not.
seems, it seems like your dog might remember the verbal commands of leave it and not want to go to that box at all afterwards. And you're switching between boxes. So that's pretty big challenge for a dog to say, oh, leave it for 10 seconds, you know.
You know what? My dog knows where the treats are. She's doing fine with leaving it.
Okay.
She's making a beeline for the box that has the treat in it.
All right. I think that's everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I know some of it's lunchtime for some people, so go enjoy your lunch. And we'll see you all on the dog park.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.